So y'all didn't recommend any specific tutorials I should watch, so I just typed in dubstep tutorial and clicked on the first most recent upload, so we're gonna check it out right now. Let's see if this is useful for beginners or not.
There is a professional way to create dubstep, and it will get you thousands of listens on your next song. In this video, you will learn 4 ways to create a good drop structure. Today's tip will not focus on small things like sound design or mixing. Those things will help with final quality, but will not significantly enhance the key structure of the drop. Instead, today, we will focus...
He's kind of pointing out the obvious. Mixing will not enhance the structure because arrangement will enhance the structure, not the mixing.
Focus on 4 fundamental aspects of composing a good drop, which demonstrates the potential you have to unleash. And then, I will guide you step by step on how to apply these techniques in your song. I also leave in the description the presets and samples that I used in the drop of this video. The first part of this puzzle to create a good drop is simplicity. But a simple drop does not mean it should be monotonous. In this example, there is the classic 4/4 layout, the typical drum sequence but with some modifications. Instead of the drop starting suddenly, leave the sensation floating.
I guess he's talking about a fake out.
Drums. This will make the listener be impacted by a surprise effect.
Basic structure.
This is a technique widely used by professionals like Virtual Riot, Zomboy, Must Die, among others. But this is...
What was that picture? That was not a recent picture.
Just a small part of the most fundamental. The second part is the structure. So let's analyze all this so you do not make the same mistake again. Here in this example, we have a part for the drums, one for the main bass, another for the fill, and finally a volume automation. In short, make your drop generate interest. And for that, you must
But one track that doesn't have a call and response is Behemoth by Sudden Death. So that's also a good song, so doesn't even have a call and response. Just wanted to mention that.
Stimulate variations. Here we have this first bar saying something. Then, in the next, there is 3 to 4 with a message. Then receive a short response at the end of the bar. This generates dynamism and entertainment for the audience, generating interest and, most importantly, not getting bored.
The wording is weird, but yeah, it's kind of right. So in terms of call and response, you generally want to be aiming for 2 sounds or 2 phrases. Could be 2 corresponding melodies, so one melody responding to the other, or a bass hit that gets a response from a melody, or vice versa. Basically, you just gotta have 2 contrasting sounds that are going back and forth in different time spans. So it could be a 1 bar call, 1 bar response, or it can also be a half bar long call and a 1.5 bar long response. So it all depends on what kind of song you're making.
Once you have the structure ready, we move on to part 3, the layering. Obviously, it will not be an easy job if you do not follow these tips. I will tell you, this is a copy, but with some modifications. All 3 together sound like this. The next thing is to use some hits to mark the impact. For example, these...
I mean, ideally, if you're layering, you generally want to aim for different sounds, yes, but I think you're much better off layering mono and stereo sounds. So for example, have a strong, loud, not that noisy mono component, and then layer on the same preset, but add a lot of unison, but not with that basic wavetable with 0 randomness as he did on Serum. Just have the same preset and use a mono-compatible stereoizer effect like Dimension Expander on 50 mix and 0 size. Just make it stereo and kind of blur the sound with a chorus or a reverb filter or anything like that. My preferred way of layering is either through frequency, so that means I have a main bass that is loud, but it doesn't have any high end, so I'm gonna use any kind of other sample or synth that I've made to play the same rhythm, but I'm only gonna keep the high end of that. Or it's in the stereo space, so I have a mostly mono component and a lot of stereo noise or stereo synths in the background that play the same rhythm.
These circuit style sounds. I extracted them from the following bass. It is a scanner noise. And finally, this bass line, it seems simple, but it generates great accompaniment to the drop.
I think that only created more confusion. I'd say if you want to do grain synthesis or any type of grain related thing, make it concrete, make it stand out, or make sure it plays the same rhythm all the time, because that thing that he showed, for example, is creating rhythmical chaos in my opinion, because he had a rhythm with all the basses and then this grain was not synced to the grid, so it was just all over the place.
Drop's not simple. And these are the hooks, but you cannot connect one part with another. The essence breaks, and this leads to the listener losing interest.
True.
Depending on what you are doing is what you will use. This here is my hook to connect the hit of the next part.
I think you could do much better if you just isolate one of the previously mentioned like turnarounds. I would probably use a drum fill with a melody and not with basses, whichever y'all prefer.
Listen carefully to what they use in their hooks and try to replicate it in your style.
Yeah, okay, so this was kind of useful. No misinformation whatsoever, just the wording is a little bit weird. But I'm gonna hop into Ableton now. I'm gonna show you what I usually do. If I'm stuck, I have a writer's block or something, or I just wanna see how people make their tracks. This is a good way of practicing and just learning more about call and response. So let's jump into Ableton. I'm gonna finish my coffee. Turn this red, turn the other one green, and then have one white. And now I'm gonna grab a track. For this case, I'm just gonna grab something random from Muerte, for example. Okay, I have this unreleased version of Plague Father. Okay, so right off the bat, I think I'm going to line it up with my template. So I'm just gonna use theme as this part. Yeah, that's basically the intro / theme. I'm gonna put a locator here saying variation. Then that's the build. Okay, cool. So regarding the drop. Might not seem that obvious, but in this track, the call and response is the melody. That's gonna be our call, and the rest is the response. To keep it interesting, they used a fill. Bass fills. So we're gonna put that down to fills. And in a way, this becomes the new call. Okay, and here in the second 8 bars, they don't have any, sorry, the second 16 bars, they don't have a glitch or a switch up turnaround section. They just straight up have a different rhythm here, for example. Just a straight line of rhythm. It doesn't get more complicated than the first section. So that's it. Obviously, color it accordingly so you won't get confused. That's basically how it is. You can then put it all back together just so you can, see it more clearly when it's changing. You can even go back, check out these sections. So the same things that you cut out, maybe they are different a little bit. They are changing it up. The main sound design after the first 4 bars. Another change after another 4 bars. No change. Little change. Yeah. With this, you can, grab like 5 tracks or 10 or how many, grab it from multiple artists and just see if you can come up with any call and response that can help you in your production. Let's check out another track. Let's check one out from me. So Strident is on 40, I believe. In this track, I know I don't have a variation, so it's just going to be theme or intro and then build. And then the drop is really, really simple. So for me, it's a half bar long call, and then the rest is the response.
6 feet under, jumping it.
I have these small little fills here. Mostly just this. To make it more simple, I'm just gonna cut it from half bar. Pretty basic structure, nothing changing. Just the background synth rhythm, that rhythm is changing a little bit here and there, and then the sound design is changing a little bit. The fills are changing, but overall the main structure, the actual skeleton of the track is the same. Hold on, I gotta take 7 out of 10. It gave useful advice. It was not really detailed. The wording was a little confusing and weird sometimes, but the intention and the basic knowledge that it gave you who watched it was alright. So good job, keep it up. Make sure the wording is more precise and make sure to provide better examples. If you want me to react to anything, or if you want me to show you anything, leave a comment under this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, whatever the trend is right now on YouTube. Do those, bell icon, whatever. Make sure to comment down below what you want me to do. Peace! If you found this video helpful, don't forget to check out my website for a lot of high quality Serum and Vital presets and drum samples. You can also support me on Patreon, where I upload bass music specific tutorial content every single month. Peace!